Welcome to Credit and Bankruptcy with Reed Allmand. Reclaim your power for financial independence. And now, your host, Reed Allmand.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us today on our first episode of Credit and Bankruptcy. I'm Reed Allmand. I'm a board-certified consumer bankruptcy attorney by the Texas Board of Legal Specialization. And what I want to do today is tell you why we started this show and what we hope to accomplish and what is in it for you to get out of this programming. So I invited a special guest. Michelle's with us today, and she's going to be helping kind of interview me, find out what we're going to accomplish with this show and what we want to get across to the viewers. Thanks, Michelle.
Thanks for having me. Yeah.
How are you doing today?
Doing good. I'm doing good. It's a beautiful day out today.
Yeah. So what would you like to know?
So, I've never met a bankruptcy attorney before. So tell me a little bit about how you got started. Where do you come from? Are you from Texas?
Yeah, I'm born here in Texas. I grew up in Abilene, which is a couple miles from here, about 3 hours.
Okay.
And so I grew up there. I went to school at Abilene Christian University, and I majored in accounting and finance. And then after that, I knew I wanted to go into law school, so I took the LSAT exam, and I got accepted to Texas Wesleyan in Fort Worth, which is now A&M University.
Oh, very good. So did you think you'd be an accountant at some point, or what made you go to the bankruptcy lawyer side?
Honestly, I like the finance aspect more than accounting, but I found out I only had to take 2 more classes to get a double major, so that's why I figured I would go that route.
So you moved to Fort Worth from Abilene?
I did, yes. Yep.
All right, very good. So bankruptcy, when you were in law school, did you work for a bankruptcy attorney, or what was your experience with making sure this is what avenue you wanted to take?
Okay. Well, in law school, you have a lot of aspirations. I did not know that bankruptcy was going to be my profession when I was in law school, but I did know that I wanted to do something transactional related rather than litigation. And so that was kind of like some legalese to me, more related to drafting documents and helping people do those kinds of things. And so I interned with the IRS State and Gift Tax Division, and also with Burlington Northern Santa Fe Railroad. And so got some experience doing that, and also worked for an attorney while I was in law school who did collections. So he was on the other side of what I currently do right now, suing individuals to get money that's owed.
So now you work in mostly Chapter 7 and Chapter 13, is that correct?
Right. So I work for individuals and small business owners. So if an individual is considering bankruptcy, they have a couple options. They can do a Chapter 7 bankruptcy, which is the type most people are familiar with. It's a liquidation. So you file the case, we list all of your creditors, all your property, and then we file the case, and in 3 or 4 months it's wrapped up. And then also consumers can file Chapter 13, which is a reorganization.
Okay.
Yeah, and so that's primarily what we do, and we do help some small business owners as well.
When would people choose to file bankruptcy? Could you tell me a little bit about why people should or shouldn't, or different scenarios that would come about with bankruptcy?
Okay, well, if you're considering bankruptcy, there are some people who are excellent candidates, and there's some people who are not excellent candidates. And what we do is we have the consultation, and we're looking for information to determine if this is a good decision for you to make. Is this in your best interest? And the people that are most likely to benefit from bankruptcy are people who are in jeopardy of losing their property. Like, for example, maybe they have a potential repossession, foreclosure, eviction, or they simply have reached a point where they does not think that they're going to be able to pay the bills as they come due, and they have more debt than they're really able to take care of. And the folks who are not eligible for bankruptcy, or who it may not be a good decision, is number one, they don't have enough debt. We do have people come in sometimes who have a utility bill for $2,000, and I'll say you don't really want to file bankruptcy for that, because you've got the filing fee and the attorney's fees, and it's just not a good decision to do that. Or they potentially have non-exempt property. And bankruptcy code and the bankruptcy exemptions in Texas and federal are very generous. And so most people are able to keep all of their property. But sometimes if you have investment property, if you have stocks and bonds outside of a retirement account, you have an inheritance, you're part owner of a family plot of land, that may bring into an issue with the bankruptcy where you may need to liquidate that, or something that the person is not willing to do. And so in that situation, we may look at other alternatives like debt settlement or consolidation in those situations.
Does it take a while for you to figure out whether or not they're eligible for bankruptcy?
It really doesn't. I mean, with our standard sets of questions and the things we do to gather the information, within 30 minutes to an hour, if the client has access to those answers to the questions we're asking, we're able to get them a really laser-focused options on how bankruptcy would be good for them or how maybe they should consider something else.
Well, given the nature of the business, I know sometimes it can be difficult to deal with clients, and you have to be very compassionate to people. Was there something in your upbringing growing up that maybe helped you relate to clients that are dealing with bankruptcy?
I think so. I grew up in West Texas, and so we lived in Abilene, and actually about 15 miles outside of Abilene. Mm-hmm. And it was more of a country setting. We had to do some physical labor and work, and my parents and my mother in particular were very good, I think, about shaping the work ethic that I had. And I also saw how hard she worked, because she was a school teacher, and when my parents divorced, she was the primary breadwinner. And unfortunately, my father wasn't in a position to make consistent child support payments, and so I really saw her struggle to make ends meet. And it really motivated my sister and I to be helpful and start contributing. So when I was younger, I started mowing lawns. You know, around 11, 12 years old, my sister started working at a restaurant, and I was really motivated to succeed, and I wanted to help. And when I interact with clients and I see them in the same situation that are struggling, I can't judge them. Because I know I see them potentially as family members or friends that I know, and I know that they're good people, and I know sometimes things just happen that are not in your control, and you need help. And that's why I love what I do. Now,
your business now is Reed Allmand, right? So right. Did you work with another attorney or in a different group coming out of school, and what made you go off on your own?
Yes. So when my first job, legal job out of law school, was for a consumer bankruptcy attorney in Fort Worth, and he was primarily in consumer bankruptcy. And so I worked for him for 3 years, and he was very generous with telling me, you know, everything he knew about bankruptcy, and also I learned a lot about running the business of the law firm. And so I kind of was very curious to learn as much as I could about every position and about how the business worked. And luckily, I got into a position where we had acquired a firm in the Dallas market, and there was an opportunity for me to go over there and help develop that office. And so at that point in time, I became an equity partner in that law firm and continued on for 3 years. And then once it became time that I was going to move on from that partnership, I kept that Dallas office and brought on a junior partner that I worked with for several years. And then I guess since 2011, so for the last 9 years, it's been just strictly Allmand Law Firm. But I work very closely with a lot of other attorneys in our firm that are not listed in the firm name, but they are basically partners with me to help consumers. We have 4 full-time employees that are attorneys that do that.
Yeah, wow. It's really great to hear about anyone having a mentor getting started. And it sounds like you had a great group of people that helped you along the way, and you learned a lot. And now you branched out on your own, really successful here in Dallas, Fort Worth.
Thank you.
Yeah.
You know, I want to take all the credit for it, but honestly, I knew that when I was in school that I wanted to do something with my career that was going to satisfy my desire to be successful, but also I had a really strong desire to help people. And so I'm a Christian. I went to Abilene Christian University, which is actually Church of Christ, but I'm Baptist. Okay. And I actually go to a Bible church now, so I'm kind of all over the board, I guess, on Christian denominations. But mainly what it is that I wanted to do something with my career that would help people, that would be in line with God's path for my life. And looking back, I can really see His hand in moving me into the law school, opening doors, meeting people, and just the gradual building of the knowledge and experiences and opportunities that have really got me to where I am right now. And I really feel truly blessed.
Wow, that's a really great story. I really enjoy hearing that. So it just seems like you want to give back quite a bit too with your practice. Do you do anything in particular with your business to give back to the community?
It's nice that what we do every single day we view as being of service to people, because after doing this for 20 years, I've seen so many people that are sometimes in the worst spot in their lives, that are struggling financially, emotionally. I've actually seen some pretty dark places that people have been during this experience, and we offer hope. We offer a plan, we offer solutions, and not every solution is right for every single person, but we make sure that they're given knowledge and the opportunity to make a legal decision that's good for them. And so that's mainly how we like to give back, is helping our clients, but also we do take pro bono cases. Okay. And so we have a referral network that we accept those pro bono cases through. And we were able to help as many as 5 to 7 people a month. And I'm honored that in 2018, I was named Pro Bono Attorney of the Year.
Wow, that's great. That's amazing.
Yeah.
That's really something. It sounds like you have a full service, complete situation with your business where you feel good internally and you're giving back and making a great living. Do you, looking back, if we could go back a little bit to your childhood and your experience, were there any attorneys in your family? Were you inspired by anyone in particular?
I don't have any attorneys in my family. Most of my family are educators, so they are people in the school systems. My grandmother was an elementary school principal after she first became a teacher. My mom was a teacher and a diagnostician with her psychology degree, and my sister still teaches 2nd grade.
Wow.
So a lot of people in education, and I knew I wanted to do something in the legal profession. I've always been intrigued with that. And so I was the first one, in my family to get into that.
Oh, wow. That's really interesting. So bankruptcy is not something that a lot of people talk about as far as if you're not in the business. How do you feel when you're maybe meeting new people and they ask what you do for a living? How do you approach it? Because I know for me or for some other people, it might feel like a taboo subject. How is your explanation on what it is you do for a living?
Well, it's not really a very good icebreaker at a party. Because a lot of times people come over and they're very interested. Oh, what do you do? And I say I do bankruptcy, and they're like, I hope I never have to see you. Then the next thing they ask is, well, how do people pay you?
Right.
If they're going through bankruptcy. So, yeah.
That's a really good question.
Yeah.
How do people pay you if they don't have any money or they're having financial issues?
Right. Well, everyone who is considering bankruptcy has at one point in time had excellent credit. And so that's why they've qualified and they've been given these loans and opportunities. And now, for various reasons, they could be facing financial hardship. So really, it's more about reallocation of resources, because a lot of people think, well, I don't have the money to pay all my bills. But what we help them do is look at their bills and decide, oh, we don't need to pay this one anymore. We're going to take this one and resolve it this way, or we're going to reorganize this and reduce this bill. So we help them free up resources that they already had that they can then devote towards attorney's fees or starting to live on a cash basis.
So do you do like a payment plan for them? Or
we do payment plans. We take payments from third parties or family members if they want to take care of the fees. We can also defer fees through a Chapter 13 and get paid over an extended period of time. So really, there's no reason to ever not seek the help of our firm about money, because we can work with any budget and we can get people relief immediately. In fact, we do offer 0 down retainers, which means that we can start working for you. You can have your creditors start referring them to us while we set up the payment plan and we work towards getting the attorney's fees taken care of.
Well, that's really great to hear that, there's so many different scenarios with people out there that you're able to work with them individually and find a solution so that they can move forward with the process of bankruptcy.
Yeah.
That's really great.
It is nice to be able to put together some kind of plan that is going to get people back on their feet. And obviously, if they knew the options and the way that they could, handle their finances and change things around, they would do it. But that's why we offer, a free consultation, and we go through each person's individual fact pattern, review their finances, tell them what they're eligible for, because not everyone is eligible for the same things. And then we come up with a customized plan. And then the client is, in control of the situation, and they make a decision that is going to empower them financially to get their life back.
Well, you mentioned something that I thought was interesting is about creditors. Can you tell me a little bit about creditors and how that affects people during bankruptcy and why that's a stress for people?
Absolutely. I mean, typically creditors and collections can be very stressful. The person who originally holds the debt sometimes will start the collection process, and they'll do some phone calls, and they will send letters, and they'll try to collect the funds. Now, if they're not able to, they'll often sell it to a debt collector. And so that person then is now going to be much more aggressive. And so the phone calls will pick up. Now, there's federal law out there that has guidelines for what creditors can and can't do. But a lot of times they don't obey those laws, because they've learned through experience that it's more effective to skirt those issues, because they collect more money than they're going to have to pay out if they ever get sued, if they even do get sued. So that's another aspect of what we help people with, is advising them what their rights are under federal law, as far as what are proper, ethical debt collection practices and what are not. But the sad thing is that it really wears people down. It grates on them for their state of mind. It grates on their relationships. They're fearful of the phone. They're afraid that at work, somebody's going to walk in and hand them a lawsuit. I've had people call me from work who are deathly embarrassed because somebody just hooked up their car and repossessed it. And that level of stress is really debilitating.
Yeah.
And that's why a lot of people don't reach out and, seek help.
So when you retain a bankruptcy attorney, that's something that you can help with and relieve pretty much immediately then, and kind of take on those calls for them, or?
Yes.
Yep.
That's what we do. As soon as somebody retains us, we are going to tell them to stop paying certain creditors and to start referring all their creditors to our law firm. And so that way we can advise the creditors that they are retained, they're a client of ours, and that they cannot contact them directly. And if they do so, we may pursue legal actions under federal law, and also that we're getting ready to file a bankruptcy case. And so 99% of those collection calls immediately stop as soon as you take the first step of just retaining our office, even before we ever file a bankruptcy.
Wow, that's really amazing. I know that helps a lot of people. I can imagine that being a great, great asset to calling a bankruptcy attorney and getting information and retaining them and having that taken off your shoulders. That's amazing.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So tell me a little bit about your practice itself. Do you have any specific core values that you follow? Tell me a little bit about the firm itself.
Okay. So we really want to attract employees and other people who kind of share our vision of wanting to help people. And so our vision is helping people with difficult financial problems and empowering them to make those decisions. And so really what we're looking for is demonstrating a service mentality to people, that we're not going to place any kind of judgment. We're going to be understanding that most of the time this is not anything anybody has done. There is circumstances outside of their control. We know that especially right now with all the COVID-19 and people being laid off, illnesses, job loss, divorce, lawsuits, those aren't planned events. Those are things that happen and sometimes throw the finances in disarray. So we want to be sympathetic, understanding, and let them know that we're here to help and not here to kind of judge or dismiss them.
Do you have multiple locations, or are you just in Dallas, or where are you?
We have two primary offices. One is in Dallas off of Central Expressway. And then we also have another one in Hurst, which is kind of just northeast of Fort Worth.
Kind of near Fort Worth, right?
It's kind of in a suburb location that's convenient for people who are a little bit further from Dallas. And we also now have been offering virtual consultations.
Oh, wow.
So we've been working towards this even before the COVID-19 virus, came along. So what that allows us to do is each one of our clients get a unique login and password that gives them the opportunity to log into our website. And once they're in there, they can video conference, they can do audio conferencing, they can securely upload documents, they can get status updates on their case. So we're able sometimes to help people virtually from start to finish. And we're lucky that our judges in this area are very sympathetic to what's going on. So we're actually able to file bankruptcy cases currently without the client ever having to come into our office.
Oh, wow. That's
we can
amazing.
verify their identity, we can collect the documents, and we can have them signed virtually with an e-signature company like DocuSign.
So people can use their computers or their cell phones? Like, how do they connect with you virtually?
Right. Since our portal is just internet-based, they can connect from any device. So they can connect to us with their smartphone, from their tablet, from their computer. We wanted to make it universal so that anybody who has a device will be able to work with us and work with our portal.
And do you think that type of process with the client is going to continue after the pandemic, or do you think that that'll fade off?
I think a good portion of our interactions with clients are going to remain virtual. And I think that that's kind of necessary in this new market that we live in. A lot of people are busy. It's inconvenient to take off of work and to miss work, because they're having financial problems. They need to get all the work and hours and paycheck that they can possibly be eligible for. I don't know if the courts are going to allow us to continue with the e-signatures, but I would say the majority of the consultations and the follow-up appointments can be done virtually. And we're really willing to deal with anybody's personal preference. Some people are very much face-to-face folks. They want to sit down, they want to look you in the eyeball, they want to size you up, and they want to come in and meet you face-to-face.
Right.
We will accommodate those folks. And there's other people who are looking to save time. They're comfortable with technology, and they want to go that route, and we'll accommodate them as well.
It's really amazing how technology has really kind of bled into all kinds of businesses. It's amazing to think that legally that's able to work for you.
Yeah.
And it's going
even
well.
Doctors now. I mean, we have teledoc.
That's true.
And a lot of other opportunities where, most all professions are adapting and taking advantage of the technology that we currently have.
Did you have this in place before COVID, or was it something that really kind of was launched during it? How did you decide in your firm and your business to move forward with virtual appointments?
Well, we had already started the process about a year ago, and it was a pretty in-depth project. And in hindsight, it's 2020, but I'm so glad that we did start it when we did, because nobody saw this coming. But it involved us updating all of our computers for all of our associates so that they have video conferencing and cameras built into their computers. It involved us upgrading our website, having custom software designed, a lot of things behind the scenes, soft phones, voice over internet phones.
Wow, so you really thought ahead on this. You were really prepared when this happened.
And it was really a blessing, because when this broke out, we were also concerned about the safety of our employees, and they were able just to unplug their workstations and go home and plug them back in, and it worked seamless.
Wow,
Yeah.
That's incredible. That's amazing. Well, congratulations on that. I'm sure a lot of businesses can't say the same.
Well, I can't take the credit for it. I really have a great team that I work with.
Yeah.
And so we really did it all, as a team.
That's awesome. So back to bankruptcy in general, after someone gets through the process and is discharged, what do people do after that? What is the next phase for them? Do they come back in? Are they given another task to get their credit back on score? How does it work?
When you're engaging with a bankruptcy attorney, their objective is to get the case filed, make sure the case is successful, and get you in and out of bankruptcy. Once you're out of bankruptcy, most attorneys are saying, like, congratulations, we've done our part, good luck in the future. And we don't want our clients to feel that way. So we have a program that we've set them up with. It's called 7 Steps to 720. its ability for them to get educational resources about credit, about what to do after the bankruptcy to get the positive information flowing back to their credit. And it involves live coaching calls and tutorials and step-by-step process that helps them.
So the 720, that's a credit score, right? That's like
That is.
really good credit score.
That's a good
And
credit
So that was
score,
kind
right?
of like the goal that you want your clients to work
Right.
towards, and you kind of hold their hand along the way to help them get there.
Credit and bankruptcy go hand in hand. You know, over the last 20 years, I think the number one reservation people have when they're wanting to file for bankruptcy is it's going to ruin my credit. And a lot of times they've come in and they've just, okay, I know I'll never get credit again. And I have to tell them that that's not true, you know, because actually sometimes a bankruptcy can help them improve their credit score faster than doing nothing. And when you think about it, you know, your score is based on several things. It's based on your debt to income ratio, which is much improved after bankruptcy.
Sure.
It's based on your payment history. So if you have negative, late pays, charge-offs, things like that that are hurting your credit, those will also go away after bankruptcy and you get a fresh start. And so rebuilding from scratch is really important at those very first things that you get going. So if you get a secured card, if you make your first installment purchase, like a vehicle or a home loan, then you can get your credit going back really quickly.
Wow. So when do people say, you know, they went through the whole process, they're trying to get their credit rebuilt, if they need a new car? How long do you think it normally takes for someone to be able to qualify for a loan to get a car?
After they file bankruptcy, they're very surprised that they're going to be eligible to purchase a car right after bankruptcy if they need one. And in fact, they get solicitations in the mail from a lot of car dealerships who pull the bankruptcy notices.
Oh, interesting.
And then send them direct mail. And they're always shocked. You know, they're getting credit card offers, they're getting these car loan offers. So if you need to get a car, you can do so immediately after filing. The interest rate is going to be probably high, probably double digits. So even though you can, if you don't have to, it probably is a wise decision not to. And if you do our 1-year plan coming out of the bankruptcy, then your credit score can potentially go up 50 to 100 points from where it was before you filed.
Wow.
And then that way it puts you in a better position to then make that car purchase and get a really competitive interest rate.
Wow, that's really incredible. I had no idea. I thought it would take much longer than that to be able to kind of get your life back on track. But how long does it take to do, say, a Chapter 7? Is that a really long process, or can you tell me a little bit about Chapter 7?
Well, Chapter 7, from the time we file the case until it's over, is approximately 3.5 to 4 months. So it's a quick process. And, you know, since everyone usually has a reservation about their credit, one of the things we do for our clients before we file is we want to pull their credit report from a couple different bureaus. We do that for a few reasons. Number one, we want to make sure that everyone that they owe money to, they get notice of the bankruptcy, and we make sure to discharge that debt. And also on that report, we've partnered with another company called Credit Experts, and they pull your credit score. So they tell you, hey, this is what your score is today, and this is what your score could be 1 year after bankruptcy if you do X, Y, and Z. So it's a great starting point so that you can look and measure your success.
So when you retain someone, you're getting their credit score at the very beginning of this process, and then you do it again at the end. So you kind of build this plan to help them. Is that correct?
Right. Exactly. Yeah. And if for some reason the creditors are not reporting accurately on your credit, which happens in a lot more cases than you would think, they're going to continue to show the trade line delinquent, which is going to hurt their credit. Then we work with our clients as well to try to get those situations resolved. And it's not in every case, but in some cases, there will need to be litigation to make that happen. And so we have our own internal attorneys that can help, and also we partner with other firms as well, so that we're able to get those services done for the client without them having to come out any money for any attorney's fees. So we do it on a contingency basis.
Oh, very good. That is really fascinating. I didn't realize that it was so quick, that, you know, you could be in dire straits with your finances and a year later be, you know, back to somewhat normal and have a car and maybe a house or whatever you need. That's incredible. And so it's nice to know that you're able to kind of be there for your client and answer questions along the way, because it's a very confusing process, I'm sure, for the regular person.
And that's really the reason why we're here today. That's why we're, at the studio. That's why we're recording this, is we want to get the message out to people that there is hope, that there's resources available. And just like you had misconceptions about how the bankruptcy process works and potentially how easy it is, and also people having credit issues. So that's why we've started this show, and we're going to be having this be a recurring event so that people will get the information and knowledge that'll help them make smart legal decisions.
That's wonderful. I think it's definitely needed. It's definitely an area that's very intimidating. So I'm happy to hear that you'll be doing this.
Right.
Great. Well, Thank you so much.
Well, thank you for coming on.
Yeah.
Everyone out there, I want to say thank you for joining us today. I hope you found this program to be useful and helpful. If you have any suggestions or questions, you can reach me at 214-265-0123 or on my website at www.allmandlaw.com. And the way you spell Allmand is ALLMANDLAW.com. Have a blessed day. Thank you very much.